obviously, after I've shown you all these things that I'm talking about this type of media, there's something to ponder. Okay. Now, I'm trying to describe this to you in a way you hopefully understand, and hopefully it will make sense to you, but let's take a clear jar, and this is a very bad picture, a clear jar full of ping pong balls, right? This is going to make sense hopefully when I'm finished, but you get a clear jar of ping pong balls, and you just load them all in there. Looks normal, right? Let's say we blacken 3 of those. It looks still the same, but yet there's still a little something. It's like, yeah. But you take 10 out, and you know there's this obvious difference. You take a look at the white, and you look at the one at the end, and that you see an obvious difference there. Well, now I'm going to go on to the human brain, which we obviously all know of, but our human brain is capable of many things. It teaches us how to type. It can help us to organize shopping lists, and it can help us to get to and from school. It helps us to know how to get to and from school every day. Well, think about this. If we can put all of that in our brains, then obviously we have the room to put media into our brains, which is hence horror movies, books, and video games. We put all of that into our brains, and it's in there. Just as much as the typing is in there, and the typing is faceted to our brains. I mean, we do not even have to look at the keyboard. It's in there. Just as much as the other stuff is in there, too. So when we watch a movie, it doesn't just stay there while we're having fun. It stays there the entire time. So, hence, my next slide. It will come back to haunt you. The things that you're thinking about will come back to haunt you. You will be at home. You'll get finished with your friends. You'll be dropped off. You'll go home, open the door, and dark room. You're like, or in your dreams, like, oh, and by yourself, looking out the window, it will come back to haunt you at some form or another. Now, there are some that are desensitized, which is my next slide. I wonder about this. No, that's not my next slide. Sorry. So basically, in all points, just avoid that type of media. If you don't want to have those feelings, you just avoid that type of media. I know I can't. It's hard for me to avoid it, but you just choose the type of media you want to put into yourself, and that's what you'll get out. I mean, that's basically essentially what it is. Technically, you shouldn't watch any scary movies, but then everyone else is going to do it. But basically, that's how you get scared, is because you watch this stuff, and then you get it inside of your brain, and then it stays there, and then you can just access it at any point in time by yourself. If you had nothing to think about that was scary, you could not get scared. But then obviously there are many things. So this is kind of an asinine PowerPoint slide, but here's something that I started thinking about. It makes me think, what if you had to get, for the people who watch horror movies all the time and want more and more and more and don't think it's enough, I just think it's interesting. If you were to put if you put a couple drops of ink in a tank full of clear tank water, and then just put more in there until the tank is completely filled with black ink, and it were to go over, it just makes me think, how much can you put into a brain before it kind of goes crazy? I mean, obviously there are special effects horror artists that go into it and just make the tank over. I mean, they obviously spend their entire life in horror. How can that not affect you as a person? I don't quite understand that, and this is something that this slide is something I'm probably getting myself way in over my head, but I just find it interesting to tap into, because it's Halloween coming up, and that people get scared and they wonder how they can possibly avoid it, and basically just avoid the things that scare you. And then they can't come to mind, and then they can't scare you, which is the beautiful thing. when you think about something, a movie that you can't remember from a long time ago, and you try to access it, you try to think, oh, wow, that was really scary. I can't remember it. I can't scare myself. That's how it kind of works out. So now that you've seen my slides, you can smile, be carefree. I mean, not carefree. You can be scare-free and happy, and this will probably get a half a star if it were ever possible, but I just thought I should put it out so everyone could see it. Okay.